Alright, in the previous step we learned how we can use different interfaces in our C# code in Unity. But now we want to customize some functions or classes in Unity by using extensions methods. For example, let's take a look at transform component of an object, and if we right click on it we will see copy the whole component, paste parameters or component, and reset property, position, rotation, or scale. Alright, we want to add another feature to transform, but we don't have access to the transform class, or maybe it is difficult or non-standard to change the whole class of transform or any other classes. In this example, we don't have access to the transform. Maybe in another example, we have access to the main class, but we don't want to change it. So we will use extension methods. For example, we have a cube here, right? And the position of cube is this, x, y, z, okay? But I want to add a function to the transform class, which when we call this function, let's set x, y, z 1, 2, 3, and also change the scale of it, automatic, okay? Let's go here. We can define the extensions with this structure, okay? It's supposed to be first a static class, and second just with this, without any extra word here, for example, like menu behavior or interfaces, nothing else, just the name of extensions, just that. And here we have our function, public static. Again, static because the main class is static, so our void has to be static as well. Static void, I call this function setup transform, okay? Inside these local parameters, I set this. This helps us to call this function as an instance anywhere we want, anytime we want. No need to make an object from this class. Just call this function. But it needs to attach to somewhere. And the main transform class of the Unity engine is our target. For example, I can make an extension for camera component, or I don't know, something else. For now, our target is transform, and I called my variable as a trans, just this. And okay, which parameters of the main class of transform needs to be changed? Inside this function, when we call this function, set the position trans.position new vector 3 1 2 3, and set the scale trans.local scale equal vector 3 1 2 3. And how we can call this function setup transform? Let's take a look at an example. For example, in the start we have just transform dot setup transform. It is a simple transform of Unity, okay? If I say here dot, here in the main classes, in the main class, in the functions, we have a new function, setup transform. It is exactly I defined here. And something like this. Now let's save. Let's come back to the Unity and give this interface example or any other code you have called for that extension user. This guy. Let's take a look at the position, and after that the scale, after I play the scene. That's it. 1 2 3 for position and 1 2 3 for scale, as far as we mentioned in our extension. Extensions are really useful because we can change any methods without beating them, without hitting and harmfully making them harmfully. That's it. Easily, without any problem. All right, let's go to the next step.